Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Happens. You can tell that I'm more enthusiastic this weekend because I'm trying to make up for the race we just had this weekend. So, I would like to welcome my esteemed colleagues, Marshall, or the Wave Yellow, AJ, and Baxty in our comments, who is probably going to start. We're going to have a few arguments about Fernando Alonso in this stream, apparently, but we'll leave that to another discussion today. And then myself, Rory talks more sport, and of course our amazing producer behind the scenes, Fly. So this is our review of the Belgian Grand Prix. One more. I want actually to start us off. We're going to do something a bit different. In one word, describe the Belgian Grand Prix, everyone, please.
I don't think one word is enough, man. I don't know how to describe it in one word apart because there's two parts to the Belgian Grand Prix: pre-rain, post-rain. Post-rain, post-dry tag, snooze fest. Before that, it was fun.
It was fun. Okay, Marshall, any words that come to mind to describe this race weekend?
Deflating.
That's fair. I think we have to forget this was a sprint weekend as well. So, the sprint happened.
The sprint happened. I forget it. The race happened. I forget it. And Hungary's this weekend.
Hungary's this weekend. Yeah. I think we should just end the podcast there. Just that's some reason.
No, I think that I think part of it is when you cut to the I usually, walk the dog, get home, race is about to start. I turn it on and I see pouring rain and I just start, let's go. And then to have that kind of just delay, and then when we finally get started, it's way too late. Mm-hmm. And we've been sitting waiting for an hour watching the clouds and listening to Nico Rosberg talk about, when he was kids with Lewis Hamilton and reminiscing, and Brosades loving, and all that is very nice, but it was getting really super boring. Mm-hmm. And then you've been waiting all this time for the hope of a wet race, and then you realize, oh, it's not going to rain again, and the track is already almost dry enough for slicks. So we're going to have, a few laps on inters, and then everybody comes in. And, the other thing too is I've talked about this before, and my brother's really good at kind of analyzing this stuff because he's a math nerd. He could work in strategy for a team, I'm sure, but he just nailed it. It's F1 teams are so conservative. It's track position is everything, but they're not rational about it in terms of once you're P15 or below, or even P12 and below, you might as well gamble. And I don't know, as soon as Lewis went on to the slicks, his outlap, he gained 5 seconds on the next car on inters. It was instantly fast enough to go on slicks way before they did, but nobody wants to be the first to jump. They want someone else to do it. If you're Lance Stroll, what do you got to lose? Why are they so conservative? So then you end up, Lewis does it first. He's the guinea pig. Everybody else pits, and then you've got a procession till the end. Yeah. Nobody can pass. You've got the same problem you had in Montreal, where you've got a great track that usually produces great overtaking, but dirty air is back, and all of a sudden we're right back to where we used to be, where it's just a procession. And
we're stuck in DRS trains as well, especially with Kemmel Straight this year and last year. They took 75 meters off the DRS zone because they said it was too strong. Yeah, I think it just made it worse. It just you had the example. I think it was on the race pod. They were talking about that there was a safety. It was Kimi Antonelli. He had pitted for a second stop, and he put sticks on, and he came up behind Gasly, or was it Ocon? Oh, it was Ocon. Sorry, and Ocon had his rear wing trimmed out to it was like a T-tray basically. It was lowest downforce possible, and Antonelli with it's a superior car, superior engine. Couldn't get past them because Kimi was on the high downforce, even with DRS, it was just too much dirty air as well, and just couldn't get past it with the setup. So it's I agree, Marshall. It's like the teams will set up for a dry race, and then we'll discuss how the delay like that, and then when it comes to dry running, the teams who set up for the dry race are kind of backstabbed in a sense because it's now dry now that they believe that they're going to run the rain. But I agree. Spa is an amazing track. Yes, it has its faults like any other track, but it is a shame to see like these F1 cars go around in such speeds, but when it comes to the race, it's just a procession. And you can say it's probably the cars and the DRS. Thankfully, DRS is going next year, but we'll have to see how it happens next year. But AJ.
I would also say, like, I think I would also say like part of it is also due to the tires. Like, the tires don't degrade, man. What the hell is going on? It's like you're made of rubber, but you feel like you're made of steel. There's close to no degradation on a medium tire. A medium tire is basically almost as good as a hard. Like, where's your degradation and where's your jeopardy in like needing to gain that 10th for the pit? Like, where is that? All that has gone missing from the sport in recent years, especially under these regulations.
I think a lot of it is the teams too have just gotten better at being tired, like managing the tires and like managing the DEG in this reg set. I think they've just sort of maxed it out.
The thing is, right, Marshall, with that, like, how much we're not getting races anymore where we're like, oh, that was a masterclass because that guy looked after his tires. He, like, remember how we used to praise like Checo or like Lewis or like even Charles for the masterclasses that they've had, even George, on a pair of tires that shouldn't be lasting as long as they did, or lasting as long as they made those tires last. But all of a sudden now there's no need for those masterclass drives anymore because the tires just last an eternity. Like, where has that gone? Like, that, I feel like that bit of the sport is also starting. If it stays this way, we are going to lose those masterful tire whisperer drives.
Yeah, I think if how we're trending, we should go back to only no pit stops, one tire per race. I say, but no, I with tires, it's a hard point for me. It's because if you want to get because Pirelli wants to make spec tires, there's no competition. There's going to be no competition for tire manufacturers in F1. They don't want a tire war. F1 doesn't want that. I say Ferrari will love Michelin to come back to get the glory years going. But
it's the last time I smiled as a Ferrari
fan. No, but it's
Monaco last year. Come on, man.
Hey. Let me be dramatic for a second, man.
But no, like the tire, like we can have this tire discussion with the dries, and we're also going to have the tire discussion with the wet tires as well, because there's, on the other hand, with the wet tires too good at its job. It displaces too much, so many liters of water, 85 liters per second of water, and then we have the inters who are not as. It's the inters are too good at a tire that it's like the teams will want to start on it, but it's hard to think. But with the tires, I think it's reg set in general. I think we've got to the stage where the teams have got the downforce levels back to the cars of the previous regulation set, and it's like it. Also, Pirelli had to bring tires in last year to had to restructure the tire compound because of how much downforce was being generated in these cars and load put on the tires. So it's like we'll have to see what the 26 tires are, but like I agree with you, Marsh. I agree with you, AJ. Like we even saw last year, like we had Albon in Australia do like 63 laps on the hard tire and pits on the last lap and gets a point. Like it's
Yeah, but the thing is, just to take like your point a bit further, right? Like, yes, they had to like figure things out with the tires because the loads was too much on the cars, but I feel like having that being a bit too much from the cars was what gave us as entertaining of the season as we did last year.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was so much variability that it was a fun season to watch. I don't remember the last time I enjoyed a season as much as I have, and even then we were already complaining about the Pirellis.
Yeah, I think Pirelli just don't want to go back to 2013 level tires. It's like they were told make degrading tires. No, we meant exploding tires. But it's I think like we can play about tires, but I think it's like there's bigger issues in the sport. I think about tires at the moment, considering how the cars are just it's. I think we should just talk about our race winner for the weekend, Oscar Piastri.
Who's that?
I don't
Never
know.
heard of him.
No, I think it's just
2025 World Driver Champion.
No. I think it's just Daniel Ricciardo. But just Daniel Ricciardo. It's just Daniel Ricciardo, but with no humor. So it's like, yeah, it's. I mean, Oscar Piastri won. He won by. Let me get the gap up. The gap wasn't actually teammates were close, except
Lando
he won by 3.4 seconds. So yeah, it's McLaren. I think it's fair to say that McLaren are going to win this constructors championship. Do we think? Unless Ferrari make a sudden charge in the last few weeks.
I think there could be a charge, but not enough to take the win. Like, I honestly don't think it's enough to take the win. And BaxtyB will keep the Alonso conversations for the chat because that's gonna derail us from today's episode entirely.
I think we should just we're going to schedule Alonso debate on this channel.
I'm gonna ask you something because this goes back to the discourse on this race. Did Oscar Piastri win the Belgian Grand Prix or did Lando Norris lose it?
Lando lost it.
I am of the opinion. Can I be like very like diplomatic and say both, or do I have to say one answer? Because Lando, yes, he deployed too much battery in his first lap on the restart. That's a fact. And McLaren can say it was a battery issue all they want, but I think Lando just deployed too much battery and he was a sitting duck. And then I think Oscar just had pace all weekend.
But to push it a bit further though, like Rory, he also made a lot of unforced errors.
Oh yeah, like he did go off a few times, and
but see, so here's what I would say. Lando lost the race on the first lap. Like, absolutely, Lando lost the race on the first lap.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that happened after the first lap was irrelevant. So a lot of people are crapping on Lando for locking up or making mistakes or losing time chasing Oscar. All of it is irrelevant. Like, the race was lost on lap 1 after the safety car, so whatever lap that actually was. But, on that safety car restart and, when Oscar got him going into Lake Home, like that was the race. It was over at that point in time. And I think that we have a tendency to sort of, and this goes back to like the broadcast. I kept switching back and forth between Sky and F1 TV. Mm-hmm. And both of them are like, just, they know that there's not a lot going on. So they feel compelled to kind of like create a narrative around what's happening. But if you look, like, Lewis was a rocket ship on those slick tires and he was like passing everybody like crazy. But as soon as everyone got on the slicks, he got stuck behind Albon, and it stayed that way until the finish. Like, it didn't matter your advantage pace-wise. Like, once you got in the dirty air, and once you got within, anywhere close to DRS range, you weren't passing. Like, it wasn't happening for anyone in the dry. So Piastri just had to peg the gap at whatever it was. So if it was at 4 seconds and Lando makes a mistake and it goes to 5, it was like, oh, Lando made a mistake and he lost a second, and now he's 5 seconds back. Oh yeah, but now now all of a sudden he's 4 seconds back again. And it's like, yeah, that gap would have been around the same. Like, Piastri was managing it. Like, you could tell, because you would say, oh, well, Lando needs like X amount of time to catch up, and he would just not quite be getting what he needed, because Piastri was managing the tire in a very specific way to say, okay, I can be 0.3 slower than Lando and still hang on to this tire. But if he needed to, he had pace in hand. And as AJ was saying earlier, the mediums, hards, it doesn't seem to matter. These Pirellis do not degrade. So they were, and everyone made the finish on those mediums. Like, Lando was the only one on the hards. And it's not like anyone else on the grid or in the top 10 had any problem getting their set of mediums to the finish. Like, everybody managed them. And you can't tell me that, like, Albon and some of the other drivers that were under pressure, like Charles, didn't wear their tires down more than Piastri did. So even in the eventuality that Lando is faster, he, this foregone conclusion that, oh, he made 3 seconds worth of mistakes, and now all of a sudden that's going to match up to him being 1 second away on the last lap. It doesn't work that way. It's like, it's a dynamic system. You're not looking at it in terms of, oh, you lost a second, and that second is cumulative and would have been there no matter what. What Oscar is doing is dependent on what Lando's doing behind him. So Oscar always had it under control, and I get why. And I want to see our comment here. We say, Lando had the better tire strategy and bottled it. He didn't bottle anything. He was never getting by Oscar. He bottled it on the first lap, if you want to argue that he bottled it.
No, but the tire strategies mean jack.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
They mean jack, yes.
They don't, the number of times, if someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe, like, even the commentators were expecting there to be a second pit stop for a change in tires. Never happened. And this isn't the first time in a race where the commentators are like, oh, there's going to need to be another stop, but there's no stop. Like, these tires are just...
And nobody in the top 10 pitted, so it's slipstream, you're saying that, not everyone managed to the end. No, the drivers that had no chance of points decided to pull the chute and do a tire stop because they weren't going to get any points. But nobody was, going to do anything on that strategy. Pitting again was death. If anyone in the top 10 had pitted again, they just would have got stuck behind whoever else. Like, even the drivers that did pit didn't really do enough to catch up. So
no one recovered after pitting.
No, and it's
no one recovered after, because it made no difference. So, like, you combine the dirty air fiasco that we're dealing with right now, along with tires that just do not degrade. Like, what do you get? Your only fun racing now is when there's some water on track. That's the only time racing is fun now, when there's water on track. And it's not entertaining to watch anymore. Like, it's I just can't wait for the regulations change, man. Like, it is what last year was an anomaly of, like, God knows what type of anomaly that was, but it was phenomenal. This year, it just went back to drab, dry, cut and dry. You're in front, clean air rules.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's 2 steps between the C1 and C3 slipstream. I hear you, but that also means the C1 is way slower. So if a medium set is a faster tire and it's durable enough to make the end, then you're actually on the worst tire. So, and we could see that Lando was struggling, like, to get the grip in the slow corners, and the mistakes were as much a function of him being on the tire that, if you remember, the hard tire in dry conditions was not going to be used by anyone. No. It was like not even considered an option. So he just went on it because they knew you couldn't pass. So you might as well try something different and hope that the mediums go off. But, you know, the mistakes that Lando made just made it easier for Piastri. Sure. But I still don't think that they had any real meaningful impact on the result. And I get why people was, I get why people think that, it matters because they want to create excitement, but it didn't actually matter in the end. Like, nobody could pass. And I don't think that, throwing on a set of softs would have done much either. Like, there wasn't enough performance difference on DRS, let alone, having a different tire. I just don't think that anything was on in that race. Like, it just kind of sucked.
Can I not, like, pull us away from being, like, negative about the race for a second? Because the three of us have just absolutely dunked on it, and I think whatever we've dunked on is very, very valid, and it's valid points for the racing that we're going to be seeing. We're going to continuously complain about this, but the first 17 laps before the track dried out and after the safety car, that shit was entertaining, man.
Oh, it's great.
I absolutely enjoyed it. Like, I was fully on board for it, and I was like, please give us more, like, at least a drizzle of some sort of jeopardy that would give us this throughout the entire race, because those 10 laps, as short-lived as those 10 to 12 laps were, they were phenomenal.
So imagine, AJ.
Entertaining.
Imagine
entertaining.
Imagine if they had started the race 20 minutes earlier when they should have, and we would
no more negative talk. We have dunked on it enough. We have dunked on it enough. Let's talk a little bit about the
I do want to just, like, counter that. As much as I wanted to see them race, I understand that there's a dark history at this track, and they were probably more cautious than they would have been other places.
Yeah.
I hope that they fix this spray issue with the new regulation set. No guarantees that they will, but, like, this whole not being able to race in the rain thing, I understand the concern, and I understand the unique features of this track, in particular Eau Rouge and Rayon, that makes going up that hill in the spray terrifying. So it's not that I don't understand it, but it's a bummer because I love wet racing, and it sucks that the only time we get wet racing is when it's quickly dry again. I would like to see, like, a proper wet race again.
We've not had a proper wet race in years. We've actually not had a proper wet race in years.
Germany 2019 is probably the last one we had a proper wet race.
Yeah.
Didn't we have one at Japan one year? But it was shortened.
Yeah, well, but they did one lap under red, and then that was when Freitas lost his job as FIA race director. But they had the tractor on the. But and then they shortened it. It did like a 44-minute race or something like that, and that was it.
Like, I completely agree. It is extremely important for safety. Like, these guys are putting their lives on the line week in, week out. It is extremely, extremely important. But the regulations and these cars need to be changed to make it somewhat safe to drive in the rain, because these wet tires, the reason why they don't put the wet tires on is because the amount of spray that they get, you can't see anything. Like, you can't see, if there's a car in front of you, that's it, your visibility is gone. So something needs to be done with the regulations to mitigate this so that we can actually get wet weather racing back to an extent where it's safe for everyone. But yeah, Like, I don't know, man. In terms of the discussion going on in the comments right now, with regards to the tire advantage, I think honestly, being on the hards when everyone else was on the mediums was not really a tire advantage. It would have given him more of an advantage had the mediums actually started degrading. But
I mean, maybe if the race was 88 laps, it would have helped him, but not 44 laps.
Not 44 laps. Like that did not make any much of a difference because it takes a while for your hearts to get going, and that tire difference that you have only matters if your mediums start to degrade. But if your mediums don't start to degrade, having a hard tire advantage when there's only about like 20, like there weren't that many laps left, right? There were only like what 30 odd racing laps, and you can do 30 laps on a medium. You can do 30 laps on a medium. Like putting on a hards for that duration, not really an advantage by any means. Not at Spa at the very least. Not at Spa and not with these Pirellis.
Yeah. I do agree. It's with the circuit days, we do have a history. We had two fatalities in the last 4 years. I know they're extra cautious, but it's still not. We've seen it on other circuits as well. We've seen that in Monaco. We've seen it. It's just that they're reluctant to actually just put the cars on the wet tires. So I think as well with the cars, I think it's the problem with these cars is the ground effect, and the spray will go hot. With visibility is not the best. It's problem. The thing is, it's just the diffusers and the rear wings on these cars are just. But if you tell the teams that you have to regulate, you have to standardize your diffusers, the teams are going to probably come back and say you're trying to make this a spec series or something like that. Like we did that test where we had the kind of covers on the cars and the wheel covers, and they didn't work at all. They just realized it was just the diffusers causing all the issues with the spray. So. Yeah, thankfully the 26 cars don't have as much ground effect as these cars do. We'll have to see how it goes, but yeah, my thing is like there's a point made that with how we did the 15-minute start. My thing is like, can they try and do it that they have like a 15-minute. In that 15 minutes, there could be like we might speed up the process here, or if they know there's a weather bank clearing, they can start from 20 minutes or 15 minutes out, and then when it's dry, the cars can go straight out, or they can start behind the safety car instead of just waiting when there's dry track, and they know there's a bang coming in again that they can maybe try and get the cars out a bit. I know safety's procedure, and safety has to be taken at all costs, but surely they can try and make the procedure a bit more simplified.
I thought that it was supposed to be 10 minutes. Why they made it 15, I'm not sure.
I don't know why 15 either.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 10, but they did an extra 5. And then, I think IndyCar is a good example of how you could make that work better, because IndyCar kind of has like a suspended field type red flag where it's not like, you're just waiting, but at any point you can restart. And it's basically drivers back in your cars. Let's go. They don't mess around. But F1, everything takes forever. And then they'll make an argument about how it has to be this way, even though every other series in the world doesn't work this way. But F1 always just says it has to be. But this is another thing with the spray issue. Is like, on some level, I get it, but I also think it's partially an excuse. And one thing that that video of Lawson that's been circulating, like that didn't even look that bad. Everybody's like, oh my God, it looks so bad. It's like, actually, that looks fairly okay. I've seen a lot worse. But the spray issue and all that, one thing that I will say drives me nuts, and I think it was Nico Rosberg who hit on this, and he was bang on the broadcast where he's like, oh, Lando's in the lead. So he's like, oh, no, we can't start now. And Max is like, let's go. And it's like, both of those opinions are framed by the competitive instincts of each individual and have absolutely nothing to do with safety, but everybody will take them at their word and say, oh, they're so concerned about safety. It's like, you can't trust a competitor to have the safety in mind in the moment. Even if they do, the intrusive thoughts of like being a competitor and how this might suit your advantage is always going to come into play. So I feel like people always trust the drivers and, oh my God, Behrman said he couldn't see a thing. He almost died. No, he's going to say that because that suits his narrative that he didn't want to race in the rain, and that because he knew that he was in the midfield. That was back in Brazil, right? Like everybody exaggerates these risks without realizing that the drivers are biased in their situational assessment of the risk by the fact that they're competitive participants. So that's why they have the safety car go out and do these laps, like, because you need a non-biased person. That, because it's like, I think Rosberg was making fun of like how everybody's feedback about the weather reflected what was in their best competitive advantage. And it's like, yeah, that's always the way it's going to be. Like the people who stand to gain, like, are going to say, let's race. And the people who stand to lose are going to say, oh, it's too wet. Visibility is really bad, guys. I don't know. But they're not being honest in that assessment fully. Like, but people just take them at their word. And it's like, just consider that maybe these guys are a little bit less pure in their intentions than you might think when it comes to safety. Like that they're not actually as concerned as you might think they are when it might advantage them. It's just, it's one of my pet peeves. Like everybody gets like on their fainting couch and, oh my God, it's so dangerous. It's like, no, these guys know what they're doing. They know what they signed up for. They know the risks and they're fully willing to accept it. Just as much as the guy that's racing on the weekend when I go flag at the motorbike track races in the rain for nothing except a plastic trophy. He's taking that risk because he loves racing and he's going to compete. And he's not a multi-million-dollar earning Formula One or MotoGP driver. He's just going out there to have fun, and he's taking that risk too. So I kind of just like pump the brakes on the whole. Pump the brakes on the whole. Like, oh my God, it's so dangerous. These guys are in so much peril. It's like, I guarantee you things more dangerous than this are happening at your local club track every weekend, because these drivers have more doctors per capita on site, more safety vehicles, more procedures, more helicopters than we do at our local track where we're, racing bikes on rainy afternoons, right? Like, cool your jets. Like, it's not like these guys aren't well compensated and aware of the risk. And I see a lot of overreaction to that. If the race had taken place, it would have been fine, I think. But, I understand the hesitation given this particular track, but I wouldn't want to see this happen everywhere.
I know, I think we should move on from the rain. And I think we should move on to AJ's favorite topic, Charles Leclerc and Ferrari.
Actually, real quick, just before that, I was doing some research while all this was happening. Sorry. And I was trying to figure out if the mediums or the hards, the tire difference actually mattered. So Lando wasn't the only person on the hards. Isaac Hadjar did also get on the hards after his second stop. Honestly, didn't make any difference. So, like, in terms of lap times as well, being on the hards was not really beneficial. So just to go back to what Slipstream said, because he did point out at one point, they pointed out that nobody else went on the hards, and that if Max had gone on the hards, he would have gotten ahead of Charles because of the advantage in the tire compounds. But no, like I went to look at it, being on the hards, no timing advantage of any sort. Because again, I use Haja as reference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, tire compounds between mediums and hards, moot point of discussion. Didn't make a difference. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's time we get to talk about Charles Leclerc. He did finish 20 seconds off the lead, by the way, but still a good result.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that.
Who said chocolate eclair? I'm hungry.
Hey,
Chocolate.
hey, get yourself out of here. Anyway, it was a good race. I still really want to see a championship fight between Charles and Max. That is one thing that I truly want to see. If I'm lucky enough, I want to see a three-way battle between Charles, George, and Max. That is truly what I want to see because I feel like these three going wheel to wheel, race in, race out would be absolutely phenomenal. And that glimpse that we had of Charles versus Max and Charles defending against Max this weekend, I just wish we had more of that. Like, I wish we got to see more of that because I absolutely enjoyed that.
So you heard it here first, folks. AJ wants McLaren to screw off and leave everybody else alone.
Hey man, I want to see the three best drivers on the grid, in my opinion, at this point in time. I want to see the three of them have equally competitive machinery going wheel to wheel against one another instead of these flashes.
When does Oscar enter that conversation?
After he wins this year.
Okay.
after he wins this year. Until then, it's still those three for now for me. If Oscar wins this year, then he enters that conversation. Whoever wins this year, actually no, I can't say whoever wins this year because even if Lando wins, I don't think he would have deserved it. But I will just say that
you can't say that with 11 races left.
Just from what I've seen for now, yeah. But anyway, Charles, Ferrari, honestly, super happy about that. The Ferraris are looking good, like decently good now. For all the fear that everyone had and all the doom and gloom of Ferrari just absolutely being an absolutely shambolic shit show, hey, we're still the second best team on the grid. We're still performing. We're still getting results. Both Charles and Lewis are still getting results. So I'm happy. Like, I can't say anything otherwise because no one's going to catch the McLarens. Rory, you're muted.
Yeah, and with the McLarens, I think the constructors are well and truly gone. It's just between the drivers, and then it's just a bar fight for second, third, and fourth in the championship. Really, it depends if Red Bull want to win a race. Mercedes are having issues with their car at the moment, trying to figure out why the setup's not really working, and then Ferrari are trying to find 6 months work catching up to do again. But no, yeah, it wasn't that Ferrari. I think Charles Leclerc can be happy he got a podium. He was able to keep Max Verstappen behind. There was listening to Charles after the race saying that every time I did the good lap, I thought I was doing the good lap, and then I realized I saw Max Verstappen in the back. It was just about like a car's length behind me. It was just more. It just showed you as well how we talked about how the cars weren't able to follow really, and a faster car stuck behind a slower car wasn't able to get past. George Russell, Max Verstappen fourth, George Russell fifth. We have Red Bull first weekend of Lauren Mackey's this weekend as the Red Bull team principal, officially on track. Got a sprint win, and then got P4, and Yuki Tsunoda made Q3 for the first time in a while. He got upgrades after the sprint race to give him the optional spare floor that Max Verstappen had. People were saying stockpiling like that. My opinion is that they said, let's just instead of giving him a Hungary, just give him now and just see how he does. And he was closer to Max. But the problem is with Yuki is that he was still second a lap off Max in the race. So he still needs to find race pace at the moment because qualifying, there's no points scored on Saturday, unfortunately, unless it's sprint weekend, of course. But he still needs to find that race pace. He was unlucky not to get points, but it was just how it worked out with the strategy and also getting past other cars. But I think it was Red Bull. They're still in that no man's land. They're focusing on 2026. It's just up to Red Bull to see, can they salvage a P2 in the championship behind Ferrari, or can they stop Mercedes? Also, it looks Max Verstappen is reported by Dutch media that Max will stay at Red Bull. Will stay at Red Bull this weekend, not this weekend, for the rest of the year and into 26. And it depends on, just because his performance clause that was supposed to could be activated by Hungary if he was less than P3 in the championship. He's still P3 in the championship, so it can't be activated, and he's still going to be there. I was always of the opinion that he was going to move in 2026, because why would you, when you don't know what the engines and car regs are going to, who's going to get it right? You'll know after the first few races, even the first test maybe. I think, I don't know if Max will go to Mercedes or where he'll go, but if he leaves Red, I definitely know he'll. My other option is that he'll leave the sport indefinitely, probably, and go somewhere else. But no, we'll have to see how it goes in Hungary for Red Bull. Anyone else want to talk about anything about Red Bull?
I don't know. I wouldn't write off, as much as everyone's saying that Max is going to stick around for 2026. I won't write off him leaving at the end of the year just yet. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'm completely off base. It's just nothing would surprise me anymore. If he leaves, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Marshall? Anything?
I mean, I think Max will stay. We'll see how the pace goes, but the thing that I'm watching is the other seat, whether they keep Yuki now that Lauren Mekis is there, whether they decide to give him another shot, or if he gets a more improved end to the season with a new team boss. I know he had a rough race in Belgium, but I don't think that was all on him. A quick thing, I think that it's nice to see, and I know that he doesn't get a lot of credit, and I'm going to show my bias here, but I thought that, Liam is doing a lot better now. Now that he's kind of out of the spotlight. Hajar was shading him early on.
Yeah.
It's good to see, sort of after all that he's been through, him getting, point finishes again and showing his value as a driver, because I think it was already there. And I still feel crappy with what happened to him and how quickly they turned on him. I do think Hajar has been better, but I think that, with all Liam's gone through this year, it's good to see him being competitive. I think that's a positive sign. I don't know what it means for the rest of his career. I don't know if he's got much time left, but I have a soft spot for Kiwis in Toro Rossos. So
that's fair.
I was always a believer in Brendan Hartley, but that didn't work out at all. So Liam is the new Brendan Hartley, but no, I don't know. I don't know why I like the guy, because he's kind of a dick, but I just go for him. I don't know why.
Oh, you mean Liam?
Yeah.
Kind of is an understatement.
What's that?
Kind of is an understatement, but he's not as big. He's not as big of a pain as Fernando is, so it's okay.
There you go.
But yeah, real quick before we move on, by the way, there's a really a debate going on in the comment section. Marshall, do you want to repeat your entire nuance on the last?
I don't want the precedent of so in the chat we've got a big debate going on here about the safety car infringement, relitigating Silverstone again. The issue is that it was on a restart, and George was not on a restart. So the wording in the regulation, just go to the race.com, bring up their article. The issue is that the precedent of George not keeping the car length rule was, not coming to a restart because there was no restart. The race ended under safety car. The regulation that Oscar got done on was not the same regulation. It was the, you can't, and I'm quoting exactly what's in the rule book here. You can't dick around on a restart, and he dicked around on a restart. Like, that was the difference. Like, basically the regulation in no uncertain terms says you can't dick around once the lights are on in the safety car. And Oscar knew he did it. He copped to it in the cool down room and said, oh, the lights went out just as I was braking. Well, first of all, the first time you were braking, and then you braked again after that. Like, yes, the first time you were braking, the lights went out, but then the next time you did it, they were already out. So he copped to what he did wrong unintentionally in the cool down room. You can argue the 10 seconds, it should have been 5. I think 10 was fair. Fair cop, it's done. He deserved the penalty. It's not the same rule as Canada. Jolyon Palmer was wrong. He was citing a different rule that's in a different circumstance than the one that Oscar got done for, which is, again, scientifically, don't dick around with a restart. Once the lights are out, the rules are different. But anyway, it's all cited. I don't have the rule right in front of me, but that's what happened there.
Yeah. I don't think we need to discuss the midfield because that was just a bar fight. Nothing really happened. Well, Sauber got points, more points for Sauber. Williams were back on form after bringing upgrade package their last season.
Can I say good things about Bortoleto?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Bortoleto, I'm pleasantly surprised by him. I think that he's really improved. Like,
can I don't. No, go ahead first. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah. Are you gonna give Albon some love?
No. I was actually gonna jump on the Gabby train because I was gonna say, I remember when we were doing an episode early on in the year, and we were talking about rookies that we will keep an eye out for, and I specifically said if the Sauber is a shitbox of a car, I am not gonna look or grade Gabby until next year. Because I think there's a driver there. It's not fair to see, to rate how good he is in a Sauber. And I'm so happy that the Saubers are actually doing decently because we can see how good Gabby is. Like, that's what I'm happy about. That was the only thing I wanted to add to what you were saying.
Yeah. I like the kid. I think that he's got potential. All the rookies have kind of had their moment this year, haven't they?
Yeah. Kimmy's podium in Canada. Bortoleto getting first points. Hadjar qualifying well, getting points as well. Behrman. Fernando Alonso scoring points for the first time in 8 races.
The only ones who really, I think, fall out are Jack Doohan, Franco Colapinto, and Liam Lawson.
Lawson scored points.
Fine.
Lawson scored points.
Now Lawson's okay, but before this.
Oh yeah. I mean, and Lawson's kind of not really a rookie either. Like, he doesn't get counted as one because he raced in 2 different seasons, which is a weird rule, but technically he's not a rookie. But what's the problem with Lewis fans and Gabby? I didn't hear about this.
Because apparently Gabby, when he heard that Lewis's lap time got deleted in Q1, he said in the radio, tank expletive, yes, that Lewis, like any driver, because he got through the Q2, so
of course he would.
And then someone
would see that.
So and then someone screenshotted the radio message and said this guy, and he got 19,000 likes, and everyone was hating on Gabby Bortoleto for hating on Lewis. Any driver would have done that.
Like the 2 best words in the English language, default.
Oh my god!
Like, come on. If you drive for Sauber and you make it through, like they don't ask how. Like,
not just if you're driving a Sauber and you get through, dude. You are a rookie. at Spa and you make it through to Q2, of course you're going to be hyped. Doesn't matter how you get it. You're obviously going to be hyped. He's a kid. Come on, man. Like, you guys are grown as adults, hitting on a 21-year-old F2 champion driving in what was the worst car on the grid last year. Make it make sense.
Lewis fans are just having a rough one. I think we need to give them. Well,
another
actually,
year.
no. I'll never give them a pass after what they did in 2022. But you know, it's a rough. Like I think of all the drivers that like their fan base doesn't reflect their personality. I think that Lewis has the most sort of discrepancy between the fan base to the personality of the individual, because Lewis is like unflappable, certain, calm, controlled, calculating, and his fans are just like paranoid, conspiracy sort of minded. Lewis doesn't ask anyone to make an excuse for him. Of anyone, he's like the most accountable.
I would actually lump Max fans, Charles fans, Carlos fans in the
as being paranoid.
The thing with Max fans is that like they both are fiery individuals. So like they're not like, it's not like Lewis is a bit calm and like he's a bit more reserved. It's like Max fans together, they go in with each other, and then Charles Leclerc is just like, Leclerc fans, like, I don't want to even acknowledge that. I don't want to put brain power to actually happen to see the arguments they have to make.
And like Max fans kind of reflects Max attitude too, though. Like Max fans are insufferable, but Max can be insufferable too. Like they kind of reflect each other. I think that, Lewis's fans do not exemplify the values of like competitive values that Lewis has. Like Lewis is very different from the way that the people make excuses for, his crappy performance. I think sometimes there's a reason for it and he just owns up to it and moves on, and they dwell and say, oh no, it's a conspiracy. Ferrari's treating him wrong, or Mercedes treating him wrong. And it's
can I just highlight something?
What's that?
The race is so bad that we're actually talking about fandoms.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. That's where we've got it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Thanks, BaxtyB. Look where you've led us.
You could be a Haas fan, because Haas fans just like, they're the only team on the grid who haven't got a podium in the history of F1.
Yeah.
They had that period of, I say, on the levels of Ferrari, of just the pain and depression. And now they're like up and down, like they have Ocon and Berman. Just like it's, but no, I think we should move on from the fandoms before we get absolutely
roasted.
Roasted. Yeah.
We're gonna get death threats.
Yeah. Shall we do some predictions for Hungary, or is there anything else to talk about?
That's a good idea.
Wait, didn't you want to speak about the potential who's going to win the championship?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing too. We can say who's going to win in Hungary and who's going to win the championship.
Yeah. Because Hungary is we are past midway anyway. So let's do Hungary predictions first. Marshall, I'll go with you, because AJ is probably going to think of a chaos prediction, or does he actually want to get points on the board this year?
I'm going to say something absolutely nuts.
Okay.
Max Verstappen.
Okay. I want points this weekend. Piastri.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
AJ.
I just because slipstream is shitting on Charles a little bit, Leclerc is going to win Hungary.
See, he was my second choice. I wanted a full chaos,
honestly,
but
this is just because I'm both chaotic, and he was shitting on Charles in the chat. So Charles is going to win Hungary. Let's go for it.
I would love to see it.
I would actually, it would be funny because the Leclerc fan base and Hamilton fan base will actually go to war. But BaxtyB is probably going Piastri again by his comment in the chat, and Fly is going Piastri as well. Oh no, he's actually got Norris. I've learned the mistake. I was in good deeds with Lando Norris. That I picked him and he got me results, and now it's kind of gone the opposite direction. So maybe we need to peg BaxtyB back. We need to technical 39 BaxtyB at the moment because he's.
If it's gonna rain, can I change my answer? If it's gonna rain, if it's a wet race, then Lewis, man.
Oh, good call.
But AJ, will the FI allow us to race in the rain? Is the question.
Yeah, that's true. I think at Hungary, there's no Eau Rouge. They better, and they did in 2021, didn't they?
Yeah, 2022. Remember when it was when Leclerc had an on strategy. He was going to win that race, and then Ferrari decided to put him on the wrong tires. Max Verstappen was leading at one point and spun to the 360, let Leclerc back, and still won the race by
that was
15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
that was a wild one. Yeah.
The other thing that I also want us to highlight is Norris is not that bad a driver. Yes, we are giving I know I give him a lot of flack, but he is not a terrible driver by any means. There's talent in there. He's just mistake and error prone. That's about it. And Norris is not a bad driver in the rain. He's actually decent in the rain.
He's decent. It's just that my thing. I would say something quickly, Marshall, before it's probably going to leave us a question of thought. It is with the championship. It leads into the championship prediction. If Oscar Piastri wins this race, not this race, this championship, do we think Lando Norris is not Lando's not going to take it well? Because if he goes into next season, Oscar Piastri is number one driver in that team going forward because he's won the championship. Lando has been that number one since 2021 in that team. Yeah. Since Carlos Sainz left. It'd be interesting to see how Lando will react to it next year. Will he be rejuvenated? Will he want to seek not revenge, but get try and win it back? Or is he going to we'll have to see how he'll take it. But that's probably Piastri.
Okay.
I think it's Piastri's championship. I think it's
here's where I play devil's advocate a little bit. Is I think we got 11 races to go, and it's only 16 points. Yeah. And we know how good Lando was at the end of last year. He got it together in the second half last year. And I just feel like a lot of Lando's misfortune has been just him not quite gelling with that car early in the season and just making little mental mistakes. If you're just looking at 11 race sample size, I don't see him making the same mistakes in the same amounts. I see him cleaning that up. Just on average. I think that as much as we give Lando a hard time, the gap is basically a tie right now. With 11 races left, I think all he needs is 1.5 points per weekend, which is, one weekend of, what happened to Max in Austria, where Kimi Antonelli came from nowhere and just blew him out of the corner, from couldn't even see him in his mirrors, just wiped him out. That could happen to Oscar. It only takes one race of something out of your control, and Lando goes on to win, and then a 25 point or a 16 point gap, 25 points makes it a 9 point gap in the other direction. We are just one race from this thing turning on its head at any moment that has nothing to do with anything that is either driver's fault. And something that I was also talking about with Shez earlier is all the world championship really is a measure of who gets the most points. It's not who drove the best. As much as we would like to think that it's we could get to the end of the season, much like seasons past, and the best driver over the balance of the season for reasons out of his control, doesn't win the championship. Like Oscar drives better on the balance of the season, wins more races, and, you know, has a better average finishing position, but gets an unlucky DNF or an unlucky 9th place or something like he did in Australia. And all of a sudden, you know, Lando's won it by 25 points and we're done before Abu Dhabi, you know, like anything can happen. And like, I feel like we're crapping on Lando a lot, but I think that he will improve his form. And I just not going to bet against him because I think in the end, he is on raw pace, still the faster of the two drivers. Even if he is, you know, prone to a few more mistakes, I think he is the faster of the two drivers. And I think if and when he gets the momentum, he's going to just go. And he'll be fine. And I still pick him. I hope that Oscar does it because I think it would be a better story. And it would change my opinion right away of Oscar, you know, if he can close this out. But I just look at it on the evidence of what we know about these two drivers that I don't have enough evidence of Oscar over the course of a championship battle to take him. Not that Lando's been there either, but at least he's got the experience of last year to go on. I still think it's basically a tie. And if I'm flipping a coin, I'm slightly weighting it to Lando. And I know that sounds crazy, but I just think that it's like 16 points with 11 races to go is nothing.
I know, I agree. Like I have said that this could be a DNF could change the title. Like it could be 2016 all over again. Like anything could happen. It's just I just have a feeling that Oscar will just. It can. My gut says Oscar, but there's also my brain saying Lando could take these 3 weeks, take it as a recess, and he could come out flying like a missile at the start of the back in Zandvoort. Like so, and he had won Zandvoort. He won there last year. It's like that. But AJ, who's your pick?
So, here's the.
It's not Charles Leclerc anyway. So
no, it's not. It's definitely not. But what I will say is, yes, it's just one weekend that could flip the switch between the two. But at the same time, there's also, you know, I'm not writing out that Max, the Ferraris, and George are gonna cause problems between the two. If any of these guys out qualify one of the two McLarens, they're gonna cause problems for the other McLaren. That's number one. Number two, I know we crash on Lando a lot, but he's still a very good driver. Is he among the top 3 drivers on the grid right now? No, but neither is Oscar. And that's just, you know, the reality of things. My gut and what I want is for it to be Oscar, just because the writings of him being a future WDC have been on the wall since his first season. I remember even before we started this channel, we were already talking about how Oscar has what it takes in him to be a driver's champion, and he will definitely win one. With Lando, and I very vividly remember saying this, he will definitely be in competition for a driver's championship. But I do not know if he will end up winning. That's kind of where that's why I'm edging a bit more towards Oscar, because even though my brain's like Lando can win it, but when I look at the two, Oscar will win a WDC. Lando still has the potential to win a WDC, if that makes sense.
Anyone can win that world championship in a McLaren. Just a matter of who's gonna prevail between these two. I always laugh at DC because he always says like at this day in history, but it's really funny because it's kind of true. Like, of anyone, DC would know that he had his days of days, but on any particular day, you know, anyone can. The margins are so close that it's like what I'm saying. Like, I know, and in the chat here, Slipstream doesn't like Lando, and I'm not saying that Lando is a better driver than Oscar Piastri. He is a more experienced driver. He does have flaws. He does make mistakes, but they're so close that it really could go either way. And 16 points is nothing. And I just feel like Lando is not going to be this bad for the rest. And the fact that it's so close underlines the fact that, you know, Lando has lost very little from all the little dumb mistakes he's done, like his Canada maneuver, and, you know, his mistake in Australia was the same mistake as Oscar, but he didn't get punished for it. It ended up working out for him. And it's like, yeah, he's not Charles Leclerc, George Russell, or Max Verstappen, obviously, but he's still very, very good. And like, he gets crapped on more. Like, I don't see, like, I know, Slipstream, that you like to say, like, the media gas him up and, like, British bias and all this stuff. I don't see it. I don't know if it's because I don't watch Sky as much, but, and maybe, like, because I don't
see the gassing up of Lando as much anymore. Like,
no,
yes, there was a lot of Lando gassing 2 years ago. But
I think he has a lot of really vocal fans. Like, I think that just love him for reasons that aren't to do with his racecraft, but, you know, that's fine. People can like who they want to like, and they can think that he's the best. Like, what I said to Shez is, like, Damon Hill won a world championship. Do we really think that Damon Hill was on the caliber of, like, most of the world champions? No. But he had the right car at the right time, and that meant that he got himself a world championship. You know, I was a huge fan of Jacques Villeneuve, but do I think Jacques Villeneuve was, you know, top tier driver? Like, I'm glad he got his championship, and that was one of the best things that I've ever seen. But if I'm taking truth serum, I know that despite me wearing his cap right now, he wasn't in that top tier of, or he's right up there too. But, you know, he wasn't in that top tier of drivers. Like, he was always on the struggle bus, you know. He made a meal of that 97 championship, but he still won it. And you know, sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time. And Lando might just be in that moment, you know, at that point in his career where it all comes together and he wins a championship, even if Oscar's better, because Oscar's not quite as experienced yet. But we'll see. I hope that we have some good battles between the two.
The other thing that I would also like, here's the thing, right? Don't get me wrong. I am not a fan of Lando. Like,
me neither.
I do not like the guy. But
no,
I think this crash, this is a bit too much of a crash in for Lando, because even though I dislike the kid, he's still good. Yeah, he's still a good driver.
I don't go for anyone who's in a good car. I always go for underdogs.
He's still off a caliber. He's still a WDC caliber driver. Like, he has the ability to compete.
In the car, yeah.
He has the ability to compete. That's for sure. Like, he is a good driver. But I do not like him, and he does not deserve a lot of the hate that he gets.
He's a Gasly Sainz type caliber, maybe a little bit above them, but like in that second tier, yeah.
The other thing is as well that just before I know we're about to sign off, but if Fly wants to highlight this, I as the Charles fan, I will absolutely shut up and I will let the two of you speak about this. But there's a comment there that says Oscar is top 3. It's Max, George, and Oscar. Take the Leclerc glasses off, and I will just shut up and listen to the two of you.
I have the same top 2, if Oscar wins, I'll entertain it. But when you have this much of a car advantage, it's really hard to say how much is the car and how they compare to people in inferior machinery. I'd like to see Ferrari give Leclerc a car that is worthy of his talent, because the guy is wasting away.
I am AJ. I'm going to take your advice, and I'm just going to ignore the comment because I can't really. I've no real stake in this. I'll just say who is the comment by?
Slipstream.
Slipstream. You're welcome to your opinion. At this time, I don't want to give an opinion to my own opinion. So I think we're just going to wrap it up.
Look, Jacques Villeneuve, number 1, Damon Hill, number 2, and Keke Rosberg.
And Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, Latifi. There we go. That's the goat tier top 3. There we go. Solved.
And Narkane as well. Narkane as well. We need.
UGE Day.
UGE, yes.
Yeah, and the other thing is, just before we wrap up, we should also give a shout out if anyone is in Hungary this weekend, and if you see Shez and BaxtyB, they're going to be there. So have fun at the race this coming weekend, boys.
If you see the pressed Ferrari and Mercedes fan on one side, and you see who does Shez support?
Merc guy.
He's a Merc guy as well. If you see 2 depressed Merc fans, give them a hug. Because
actually, if you see Shez in person, tell him I said that Prost sucks.
But no, Shez and BaxtyB, our other 2 amazing co-hosts, will be there enjoying the wet weather of Hungary. The new resurfaced Hungary as well. After they've redone the whole front straight and the pit building, so we're going to see a different looking Hungary. It's the same Hungary, but it's a different looking Hungary.
So Lewis is going to win for sure in the race in the new resurfaced Hungary.
But I would like to thank Marshall, AJ, and myself, and Matt, and Fly, our amazing producer in the background, producing this as always. You can find us on Shifting Happens on all your amazing platforms, such as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcasts. And we also have if you see a link in our YouTube chat, there is one of our shorts. That is about a Belgian Grand Prix. I think BaxtyB has done it. And like and subscribe. And thank you for watching and listening. And just listening to us ramble about F1. Thanks.